everybody, can you hear me? Testing, testing, can you hear me? I'm in New York. I'm doing this remotely. Can everybody hear me? Because I want to show you the Trump video. Let me just see if people can hear me. Can everybody hear me? Yes, you can. Yes, no? Okay, we have video. We have video of Trump and Modi. This just happened a short while ago. Let me see if I can make this work for you. Is this going to work?
बहुत खुशी कि आज फिर आप यहाँ पर आए हैं और हम पिछले 4 साल आपसे हमारी बात हुई है और हम उस रिश्ते को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं जो 4 साल में हमने पहले बढ़ाया है और ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण
This isn't the press conference. This is before the press conference. This is before the press conference.
बहुत कुछ करने को है अभी. पहली बात है तेल और गैस की बात है और हमारे पास काफ़ी तेल और गैस है और आप इंडिया में इसकी ज़रूरत है जो हम देंगे. बाद में बात आती है ट्रेड की, व्यापार की और इसके अलावा हमें बहुत खुशी है और बहुत ही हमारे लिए एक सम्मान की बात है कि मेरे एक मित्र आज वापस यहाँ आए हैं और उनसे मिलकर मुझे बहुत खुशी है.
Would you like to say anything more?
No, I'm okay.
एक्सेलेंसी, मैं सबसे पहले तो फिर एक बार आपको यहाँ पर देख करके और आपको यहाँ पर मिल करके बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है.
All right, let me just interrupt for a second. So, first of all, I'm in New York doing this on the remote setup. So I'm sorry if it doesn't look and sound like it normally does. Second of all, this is not the press conference. The press conference is coming up. This is the appearance moments ago. I have a videotape from AFP. This is like before the press conference. So let's play some of this, but the press conference is coming up.
Heartiest congratulations to you on your grand and historic victory.
ये बहुत ही सुखद संयोग है कि भारत की जनता ने 60 साल के बाद किसी प्रधानमंत्री को तीसरी बार लगातार देश की सेवा करने का अवसर दिया है. और मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि मुझे इस कार्यकाल में राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के साथ फिर एक बार कार्य करने का अवसर मिला है. मैं कह सकता हूं कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के पहले 4 वर्ष का मेरा जो अनुभव था, जो गर्मजोशी थी, जो उत्साह था, जो विश्वास था, वही गर्मजोशी, वही उत्साह, वही विश्वास के साथ हम फिर एक बार साथ मिलकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे.
Last year, the people of India gave me the opportunity to serve them for the 3rd consecutive time, and it has happened in the history of India in the last 60 years for the first time. And in this term, I will have an opportunity to work with you over the next 4 years, and it's a great pleasure to see the two coincide. And I can say from my past experience of working with you in your first term that we will continue to advance the India-US strategic partnership with the same warmth, with the same trust, and with the same excitement.
और मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि आते ही राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने एक मित्र की तरह मुझे पुराने अहमदाबाद के स्टेडियम की याद दिलाई. ये बात सही है कि ह्यूस्टन में हाउडी मोदी और गुजरात में अहमदाबाद में नमस्ते ट्रंप, वो दो एक ऐसी बहुत बड़े विशाल कार्यक्रम रहे जिसकी गूंज आज भी भारत के हर कोने में सुनाई दे रही है.
I'm happy that as soon as I entered this room, my friend reminded me of Ahmedabad and the cricket stadium where we held the big rally and the events that we did, the mega events that we did in Ahmedabad, Namaste Trump, or the Howdy Modi in Houston. We had conveyed a very strong message of our friendship through those events, and the resounding echo of those events can be heard even today in India and the world.
भारत अमेरिका संबंधों को प्रगाढ़ बनाने में, उसको एक नई ऊंचाई देने में और व्यापकता देने में राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की पहली टर्म की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है. और मुझे विश्वास है कि दूसरे टर्म में भी हम उसी गति से आगे बढ़ेंगे.
Excellency, you made immense personal contribution towards strengthening of our relations, towards making them more comprehensive and in attaining unprecedented heights in our relationship. And I firmly believe that in your second term, we will work with even more speed.
और मैं जैसे भारत के नागरिकों को वादा किया है कि मैं तीसरे टर्म में 3 गुना गति से काम करूंगा और मुझे विश्वास है कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के साथ आने वाले 4 वर्ष हम भारत अमेरिका के संबंधों की गति में 2 गुना गति से काम करेंगे।
As I had promised to the people of India that in my third term as the Prime Minister of India, we will work with twice the speed. I firmly believe that with President Trump, during the next 4 years, during his second term, we will work with twice the speed that we did in the first term.
मैं राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप से एक बात हमेशा अप्रिशिएट करता आया हूं, सीखता आया हूं कि वे राष्ट्रहित को सर्वोपरि रख करके काम करते हैं। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की तरह मुझे भी भारत के हितों को सर्वोपरि रखते हुए कार्य करना ये मेरे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है।
One thing that I deeply appreciate and I learned from President Trump is that he keeps the national interest supreme, and like him, I also keep the national interest of India at the top of everything else, and this has been my real fortune.
राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की जब भी बात आती है तब मेक अमेरिका ग्रेट अगेन हर किसी को याद आता है, हर किसी को उससे प्रेरणा मिलती है। वैसे ही भारत में विकसित भारत 2047 जब भारत की आजादी के 100 साल होंगे तब तक भारत को विकसित बनाने के संकल्प के साथ 140 करोड़ देशवासियों का संकल्प, उसको आज नई गति मिल रही है, नई ऊर्जा मिल रही है।
President Donald Trump and Make America Great Again are inseparable. Whenever we talk about President Trump, one has to talk about Make America Great Again. Similarly, that vision inspires everybody. Similarly, in India, we have the resolve of 1.4 billion people of India that by the time India reaches the 100th anniversary of its independence, we will make our country a developed country by 2047. And this is getting new speed and new resolve.
अमेरिका विश्व का सबसे पुराना लोकतंत्र, भारत विशाल लोकतंत्र, और इसलिए हम दोनों का मिलने का मतलब 1+1 2 नहीं, 1 और 1 11 होता है, और ये 11 की शक्ति, वो ताकत विश्व के कल्याण के भी काम आएगी।
US is the world's oldest democracy, and India is the world's largest democracy. So when India and the US come together, they make 1+1 11 and not 2. And this is the power of 11 that is going to work for the welfare of the humanity.
मैं राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप का, मेरे एक अच्छे मित्र का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि हम फिर से एक बार प्रगति की राह पर नई ऊंचाइयों को छूने के लिए चल पड़ेंगे।
I once again thank my friend President Trump, and we together resolve that we will together march towards progress and towards prosperity for our nations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And he's doing a great job in India. Everybody talks about it. He's doing a really fantastic job. A great leader. Great leader.
मोदी जी बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं भारत में, और हर कोई इसकी बात कर रहे हैं कि वे बहुत बड़े नेता हैं, बहुत महान नेता हैं।
मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूं आपके इन शब्दों के लिए, और मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत का हर नागरिक आपकी इस भावना का आदर करता है।
I thank you for your warm words, Mr. President, and I firmly believe that every person in India respects your sentiments.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thanks a lot.
Any questions, please?
Yes, President. You are both very popular leaders in your respective countries. You have spoken about a common sense diplomatic doctrine. So what's a Trump-Modi doctrine that we should expect from the leaders?
दोनों ही बहुत popular leaders हैं।
Make our words better and safer.
Well, I think more than anything else will be the unity. We have great unity. We have great friendship, he and I and our countries. And I think it's only going to get closer. But it's very important that we remain united as countries. We're friends, and we're going to stay that way.
President, how are you going to fight China if you're going to be tough with India on trade? How are you going to beat China then?
We're in very good shape to beat anybody we want, but we're not looking to beat anybody. We're looking to do a really good job. We've done a fantastic job for the American people. We had a great 4 years, and we were interrupted by terrible administration, absolutely terrible. They didn't know what they were doing, and now we're putting it back together, and I think it's going to end up being much stronger than it was before, even much stronger than it was before.
प्रधानमंत्री जी आप हमेशा से
Yeah. President Trump, first of all, congratulations for the fantastic 24 days of your presidency. Historic and unprecedented decisions that you made, transformational reforms. I'm particularly impressed by the expose on USAID. And I would like you to share with us if you think USAID had a role in election interference in the US in 2020 and Indian elections in 2024.
So it could have had a role. There were a lot of bad things that happened in 2020. I think bad things happened in 2024, but it was too big to rig. We won by a tremendous margin. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions of votes. So it was too big to rig. But yeah, I think they probably tried. We're looking to go to a system now much different, where one-day voting, voter ID, and we have to do that. And paper ballots. We want paper ballots. And when they do that, we're going to clean it up very, very well. But we had a great 2016. We had a much better 2020 election, but bad things happened. And we had the best of all. We had, they say, the most consequential in history, 129 years. Most consequential. So it was a great election, and it gives me a chance to work again with the Prime Minister and India. And we're going to have a great relationship together.
Mr. President, do you see, प्रधानमंत्री जी कल प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप ने प्रेसिडेंट पुतिन से बात की है और युद्ध को रोकने की बात कही है. आप हमेशा से सर.
Do you see India playing a role in your plan to broker a peace in Ukraine? And if I could ask you about a development in your hometown today, the U.S. attorney has resigned over the DOJ's request to drop the case into Eric Adams. Did you personally request the Justice Department to drop that case?
No, I didn't. I know nothing about it. I did not. I think that, just to answer your other question, we're just going to get along well. We're going to get along with all countries. We're going to do very well. We're going to be doing, I think, record business, record numbers. And we're going to work with India also. We have some very big trade deals to announce in the very near future.
प्रधानमंत्री जी कल प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप ने प्रेसिडेंट पुतिन से बात की है. आप दुनिया के अकेले ऐसे लीडर हैं जिन्होंने प्रेसिडेंट पुतिन से मीटिंग की है, प्रेसिडेंट जेलेंस्की से मीटिंग की है, पहले प्रेसिडेंट बाइडेन से मिले और अब प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप से मिले. आपको लग रहा है कि जिस शांति की बात आप करते आए थे उसमें अब भारत रूस और यूक्रेन को युद्ध खत्म कराने के लिए अमेरिका के साथ मिलकर कोई नया रास्ता बना सकता है? और दूसरा, प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप भारत आने वाले हैं, प्रेसिडेंट पुतिन भारत आने वाले हैं, तो क्या भारत भूमि से शांति का संदेश जा सकता है? And Mr. President, what you would like to say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw and it is evident that how the deep state of United States was involved to regime change during the Biden administration. Then Muhammad Yunus made Junior Soros also. So what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, there was no role for our deep state. It was. This is something that the Prime Minister has been working on for a long time and has been worked on for hundreds of years, frankly. I've been reading about it. But I will leave Bangladesh to the Prime Minister.
जहां तक रूस और यूक्रेन के बीच का लड़ाई का सवाल है, मुझे खुशी है कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने शांति के प्रयासों का इनिशिएटिव लेते हुए कल राष्ट्रपति पुतिन से बात की है. दुनिया का एक सोच रही है कि भारत न्यूट्रल है. भारत न्यूट्रल नहीं है. भारत का अपना पक्ष है और भारत का पक्ष है शांति. हम पहले दिन से ही, और मैंने राष्ट्रपति पुतिन को उनकी मौजूदगी में मीडिया के सामने कहा था कि ये समय युद्ध का नहीं है, और मेरा एक कन्विक्शन है कि समस्याओं का समाधान युद्ध के मैदानों में नहीं निकलता है, वो टेबल पर चर्चा करके ही निकलता है.
As far as the Russia-Ukraine conflict is concerned, I'm very happy that President Trump has taken initiatives to restore peace and had telephone calls with President Putin and President Zelensky. The world had this thinking that India somehow is a neutral country in this whole process, but this is not true. India has a side, and that side is of peace. From the very first day, I have been talking about the importance of dialogue and diplomacy and a peaceful solution. And when I met President Putin in the presence of media, I had told him that this is not the era of war. And I have firm conviction that problems cannot be resolved on the battlefield. The two sides will have to come to the negotiating table.
शांति के हर प्रयास का हम समर्थन करते हैं और राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने जो इनिशिएटिव लिया है, मैं उनका हर सख्त समर्थन करता हूं।
We support all efforts aimed at establishing peace.
Can you let him translate, please?
Trump has taken to welcome it and support it.
I just want to add to that. We had a very good phone call yesterday with President Putin. It lasted maybe an hour and a half. It was excellent, and I think we went a long way toward getting a solution to the horrible war where so many people are being killed, especially soldiers on the battlefield. At least 1.5 million soldiers have been killed on a ridiculous war that would have never happened if I were president. But we've got a long way to, I think we've got a long way to solving it. Tomorrow there's a meeting in Munich, and then next week there's a meeting in Saudi Arabia, not with myself or President Putin, but with top officials. And Ukraine will be a part of it too. And we're going to see if we can end that war. That war is a horrible war. It's a vicious, bloody war. We want to end it. To your other question, that U.S. attorney was actually fired. I don't know if he or she resigned, but that U.S. attorney was fired. Okay, go ahead.
What is the role, Prime Minister, I will the U.S. competition
Wait,
with China?
say
What
it.
is the role that you expect India to play vis-a-vis U.S. competition with China and in your broader vision for peace in the Middle East?
US or China के competition?
Well, I think we're doing very well in our competition with everybody. I think you're going to see a nation that really is going forward at a very rapid pace. Our economy is going to be fantastic. We're doing things to make it that way. We announced some very big elements today of success. I call it an element of success. Reciprocal tariffs, so that somebody charges us, we charge them the same amount, which has never been done in our country before. We've always been taken advantage of by other countries, and we allowed that to happen foolishly, but we're not going to allow that any longer. So I think we're going to do very well. We've been doing they say the last 3 weeks was among the best 3 weeks ever for a start in a presidency. There's never been anything like it. And when you see what we've been able to do in 3 weeks, people are really amazed. Even the Prime Minister mentioned it. I think other countries are looking at it. But I just want to thank everybody for being here. This is a terrific man. We're going to make some wonderful trade deals for India and for the U.S. And thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Out this way. Quickly, guys. Come on, quickly out this way. Come on, guys.
What's your question?
That's right. I'm like, get the fuck off my back.
Hold on. All right, so we have coming up, that was the Trump-Modi meeting. Take some questions inside the White House. But we actually have the, where are we? You can't see me. No, you can see me. Okay. So let me just make sure something here. Hold on. So I am coming to you guys from New York. It doesn't look like or sound like what it normally looks like because I'm on my miniature setup from New York. And We are, so I apologize, but the broadcast seems to at least be working. And we are going to soon get the press conference from President Trump and Indian Prime Minister Modi. Is the microphone too high? I can't tell. The microphone might be a little hot. The microphone I'm using right now. It's a different setup here, so let me do a little adjustment here. Let me knock it down a little bit. Hello, test, 1, 2, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test. It's a little better. Test. Testing. I think that's better. Hey, by the way, a quick thanks to for your support, Suzanne and Bruce, Grevin Cher, Shameless Senpai, Medallion, Mary McHugh, Queen of the South, Lizzie. Thank you. And thanks to all of our moderators. I really appreciate it. Ruth Krafasi is moderating right now. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult on this setup a little bit to see all the chats at once. I can see the chat messages, but everything is a little more complex when I do it and I'm on the road like this. So if you give me 1 second here. Oh, thanks to DBJ, who says, I feel like translators sitting right behind talking over everyone was a bit of political diplomatic theater. Very interesting insight on relation. Thank you, DBJ. Thank you also. I got that fire, Matthew Kohai 3. Papa Bear and Surly Dev for moderating. Thank you. Thanks also to our Facebook moderators. I want to thank them. Yes, I'll be here for a few days, so when I have to cover news, I'll be on the remote setup that I have here. So thanks for bearing with me while I cover it this way. Thank you, Margaret Riley and Kay Lowry Body and Bud Green for modding. Thank you. Okay, now. Looks like they're running a little late on the press conference, but that is supposed to happen at any moment now. All right, I'm keeping an eye out. As soon as I have video to show you, I will. Hey, this also happened today. This was asked about a bit. I don't know if you guys saw this. And I'm sorry, I have, I'm in New York for a few days, and I have some personal things I need to do. So I'm sorry if I miss things or I'm late to things. But I was just seeing, I saw this kind of late today. Oops, you can't see it. You'll see it in a second. There's all this story going on. Prosecutor who quit after refusing to drop, oh, well, let me show you, there's a simpler headline here. Where is it here? No, that's it. Manhattan U.S. attorney and top DOJ officials resign over order to drop Eric Adams' case. So remember that the Trump Justice Department had asked federal prosecutors in New York to drop the case against Eric Adams, a corruption case. And in the request to drop the case, they said they were not questioning the merits of the case or the evidence or that kind of stuff. What they there were a few different reasons given. One of the reasons given that they wanted them to drop the case is they thought that if Eric Adams was getting prosecuted, Mayor Adams, that would make it harder for Mayor Adams to help Trump with his immigration policies and his immigration plans. His immigration-related, policy implementation. So, again, nothing about Nothing of the Justice Department, the Trump Justice Department, asking this case be dropped. They said we're not doing this based on the merits of the case. So as you see here, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Is it Sassoon? I'll say Sassoon. It's probably wrong. 3 senior Justice Department officials, including Manhattan's top federal prosecutor, resigned today rather than comply with an order to dismiss corruption charges against New York City's mayor. The departures mark a sign of resistance from career Justice Department officials to President Trump's efforts to overhaul the agency to end what he calls its weaponization against political opponents. Critics say Trump's changes threaten to subject criminal prosecutions to political whims. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon, the Trump administration's recent pick to temporarily lead the office prosecuting New York Mayor Eric Adams, resigned her post today. According to a memorandum by Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, a Trump appointee. Bove had ordered Sassoon to dismiss the case against Eric Adams on Monday in what legal experts called an effort by the Trump administration officials to assert control over a prosecutor's office that has long prided itself on being independent from politics. Adams, a Democrat, has forged ties with Trump, a Republican. In his Thursday memo, the Deputy Attorney General wrote that Sassoon had refused to comply with what he called his office's finding that the case against Adams amounted to weaponization of the justice system. That was also another reason they gave. Your office has no authority to contest the weaponization finding, wrote Bove, Trump's former personal criminal defense lawyer. The Justice Department will not tolerate the insubordination. Bove also said his office would take over the Adams case and move to dismiss it, though no formal motion to dismiss had been filed yet on Thursday afternoon. So look, according to a person briefed on the matter, after Sassoon refused to comply with the order to dismiss the case, the Trump administration directed John Keller, the acting head of the Justice Department's Public Corruption Unit, to do so. Keller also resigned on Thursday. 2 people familiar with the matter said. Kevin Driscoll, a senior official in the department's criminal division, has also resigned, one of the people said. The resignations by these people in New York, these federal justice officials in New York, the resignations, says Reuters, sparked comparisons from legal experts to the Saturday Night Massacre in 1973, when senior Justice Department officials resigned after refusing President Nixon's order to fire the special counsel investigating the 1972 break-in by Republican operatives at the Democratic headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then there was also this. Where is this thing here? Hold on. By the way, I think some of you were mentioning this. Indian Prime Minister Modi also met with Elon Musk in Washington. Look, there they are. That's from the Reuters article. I'm not going to bother downloading the whole photo, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll download the photo and I'll just show you the photo. Uh-oh. It's going to work. Let's see. Here it is. Here's the photo. Oops, you can't see it. You'll see it in a second. There it is. There is Modi and Elon Musk. India's Modi talks space and good governance with Musk in Washington. Reuters says that, one moment here. Indian Prime Minister Modi met with Elon Musk today, where they discussed issues including space, mobility, technology, and innovation, Modi said on X. SpaceX's Starlink has long wanted to launch in India and has in recent months clashed with billionaire Mukesh Ambani's company over how the country should grant spectrum for satellite services. Anyways, we're waiting for the press conference to start. Trump-Modi plan joint press conference on Thursday. That's what we're waiting for right now. Modi held a press conference with former President Biden during a 2023 visit, but it is unusual for him to take questions from the media beyond occasional interviews, mostly around the time of elections, says Reuters. Modi has not held a single press conference in India since becoming prime minister in 2014. Wow. Interesting. So will he take questions today? I guess. Their joint press conference was scheduled for 5:10 Eastern time, but it hasn't started yet. Yeah, I'm not surprised this is starting late. A lot of times that happens. Per Holstrand says the press in India is very brutal. Yes, beam me up. We just showed Trump and Modi speaking in the White House. But they are going to do a press conference. Thanks again for bearing with the broadcast. Again, I am in New York for a few days, so I am doing this from the mobile setup. It will not look or sound like it normally does. But at least I can bring you the coverage. Also, let me make sure I don't have any other big updates for you while we're here. Ooh, I think I just saw something. Excuse me. Yeah, I think Trump might have confirmed this, but I guess that, hold on a moment here. I'm seeing reports that people from Doge were at the IRS today. Yeah, look, I can show you actually. I'll show you. Oh, hold on. Give me a moment. I think shortly we should have some Oh, I think I have video from the press conference. Maybe. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. It hasn't started yet. If you give me a moment, I'll get you the video of the press conference setup. So I need a second here. I'm going to put this on the screen for you. All right, here's what I have to do. Put this here. I'm about to get it on the screen for you. There's that. I got it. Watch. Check it out. Check it out in a second. Here we go. That's not what I want. This is live. That's not moments ago. It's live. Is there audio on it? I don't think there's audio on it yet. This is live at the White House. Let me put that up there via AFP. Oops, that's not what I want to do. There we go. Uh-oh, something is a little off here. What's a little off? Why is it looking weird? Why is it looking weird? I'm going to have to... Let me fix this. Let me fix the video. All right, hold on. I'm going to use that video instead. It's the same video. I'm doing it a different way. So we'll get rid of this. Make this bigger. That's better. Then we put this down here. Then we do this. Great. Okay. We did it. Probably a few minutes before it starts. Give me 1 second here. Hang on. I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds. Disappearing for 2 seconds. I don't think we have audio from that right now. I'm not hearing anything. I just don't think there's audio on it. I can double check though, because if I play my own video, I can tell if there's. Let's just do this. If we do this, and I'm here, and I'm talking, because if I play my own, yep, yes. So it's just that they're not sending audio out from that shot right now. Okay. Now we're getting some audio in. I'm starting to hear a little audio. Hey, thanks so much to Ken Lance. I appreciate that, Ken. Thank you. Also, Bart Meadows for the gift memberships. Thank you, Bart. You never know what Trump is going to say in his press conferences. I was going to mention something about the IRS and Doge as we wait for this to start. You can see here, look. Top Elon Musk aide arrives at IRS to scrutinize operations, sources say. Reuters says Gavin Kleiger, one of the top staffers working with Elon Musk's. Oh, look at all the people. Look at all the people there. Uh-oh. We'll get the video back in a second. Hang on a moment. Give it a second. There we go. There it is. Let me just make sure of something here. Yep. Oh. Let me do this too. There is a live shot. Yeah, I was just going to mention, Reuters reported that one of the top staffers working with Elon Musk in his efforts to overhaul the federal government arrived at the IRS today to examine the agency's operations. This is the first time that a member of the Musk-led Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has shown up at the IRS headquarters. The development suggests that Musk, who President Trump has tasked with cutting costs, waste, and fraud across the federal government, is now scrutinizing the IRS as part of that effort, even as the ongoing tax season squeezes its resources. Separately, senior executives at IRS were instructed on Thursday to identify all non-essential contracts for termination, according to an email seen by Reuters. And then also there's been a number of reports from different outlets like this. Oops, hold on, I'll show you. Mass firings of federal workers begins as Trump and Musk purge U.S. government. I've seen a number of outlets reporting this. Union sources and employees familiar with the layoffs told Reuters on Thursday that mass firings at multiple U.S. government agencies have begun as President Donald Trump and Elon Musk accelerate their purge of America's federal bureaucracy. Termination emails have been sent in the past 48 hours to scores of government workers, mostly recently hired employees, still on probation. Probation doesn't mean they do anything wrong. That's a term they use for relatively new employees, probationary employees. And termination emails have been received by employees at the Department of Education, the Small Business Administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the General Services Administration, which manages many federal buildings. All probationary staff at the Office for Personnel Management, the human resources arm of the U.S. government, were fired in a group call on Thursday and told to leave the agency's headquarters in Washington by 3 p.m. today Eastern Time, two sources told Reuters. OPM officials also met with other government agencies today and advised them to lay off their probationary employees, with some exceptions, says Reuters. I think probationary can be up to a couple of years. Let me see if I can get you a little more about that. Excuse me. The Hill says that federal employees remain on probation anywhere from 1 to 2 years after being hired, which makes them easier to remove. So mass layoffs are beginning in the federal government. Hang on here. And we have a live video for you from the press conference that's about to happen. Sorry there's no sound on the video, but that's the way it is right now. Here is the oops. Yeah, the Washington Post yesterday reported that Elon Musk's team has initiated sweeping layoffs of federal employees. Also, the Washington Post reports that White House officials are eyeing cuts to agency budgets of between 30% and 40% on average across the government. That target would vary greatly, and it's expected to exempt agencies favored by President Trump, such as Defense Department and Homeland Security. Yeah, this is interesting from the Washington Post. They say Musk's team has begun cutting staff by dismissing workers in their probationary periods, which, depending on the agency, can last 1 or 2 years. These workers typically have little protection from being fired without cause, and they amount to about 7% of the government's civilian workforce of more than 2 million people. So maybe about 160,000 probationary employees. We are getting ready for the press conference, bringing you live coverage. Chris N says, wonder how many didn't show up to work on Monday? Well, supposedly a lot of people are getting fired like today and yesterday. Our viewer Adrienne says, I believe cutbacks will be affecting VA hospitals as well, and that's not good. Oh, we have audio. I'm hearing audio. I'm hearing audio.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic, English mic. English mic, English mic. Check, 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 mic check. Can you hear me?
This is the English booth. I can hear you. Hindi to English booth. Do you hear me? Yeah, oh, great, great. Yeah, thanks.
1 1 2 1 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 1 2 4 mic 1 2 1.
Okay, sounds good, but just give me 2 seconds. I will ask my colleague also to check her the sound volume. Just hold on a second.
I can't hear nothing. I can hear myself, just myself. I hear myself. I don't hear nobody. Yeah.
Hi, could you speak again, please, so that we could just hear the volume? Yeah. That's good. Could you say a little bit more? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you. And the other mic as well, please. The other mic. Okay, we can hear you. Thank you.
Nothing.
I don't think he has anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think nobody's there.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, tell the translation guys to have the Hindi language spoken. That way we can hear Modi's.
We are watching the live feed from the White House, waiting for the press conference. You never know what Trump is going to mention in these press conferences.
Okay. Okay.
You got it?
Okay, I hear it. I hear it.
Cool.
Hold on, but can she keep talking? Okay. Keep talking.
Thanks to Jaden Barnes, by the way. Thank you, Jaden Barnes.
As they are.
Rob from HD says, I expect this will be a low-key fluff conference. You just never know. BC Angel says Trump is unpredictable. Thank you, Anonymous Gifter, for the gift sub on Twitch. By the way, Hamas said today it will release 3 more Israeli hostages. There was question as to whether it would not, but for now, the ceasefire process moves forward. That's from AP. I just need to grab my, need my eye drops. Guys, give me 1 second. I just need my eye drops. They're not handy with me. Again, I'm in New York. I'm doing this in the remote setup. So everything is not where it normally is. Give me 1 second. I'm not crying. I just put it in an eye drop. Okay. Any moment now, guys, we're going to have this for you. Sorry for any kind of news stories I miss while in New York. You know, if there's something super huge, I should be able to cover it. But I do have some stuff I need to do here while I'm here. So, you know, I do apologize in advance for anything we miss. But I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, I know Trump had said all the hostages need to be released by Saturday at noon. He said that, but Israel wasn't saying that. That wasn't a demand of Israel's. Israel just wanted the hostage release to keep going. And it was supposed to be 3 on Saturday, I think. And now they're going to release 3. Not positive. I assume that means Saturday. Thank you, Marnie, for the gift membership, by the way. One of my followers sent me something. There's a media briefing tomorrow on the collision between the helicopter and the plane in D.C. I don't know if they're going to make any big announcements or not, but they are doing a briefing. I don't know if I can cover that. We'll see. Normally I would, but we'll see. Hey, thanks so much, Kerry Poteet, for the gift memberships as well. It's really nice of you. Thanks again to all of our moderators. You guys are awesome. We are just waiting for this to get going. Janet B. is moderating. Ruth Krafasi, thank you. Also, thanks to Big Ball of Yarn, David Green. I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3 moderating on Facebook. Papa Bear and Surly Dev. Linda Bell, Glary, Misha on X. Margaret Riley on Facebook. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bud Green. Thanks. We also have Sharon Klassen Goslin. Thanks for subscribing on Facebook. And Robert Rial II. I think that might be Jackie Heinrich from Fox right there in the front. Joey Bain says there's Jackie Heinrich. As I've been mentioning, big story today, a lot of layoffs going on. Really quick, you can see this headline here. Oops, I had it. Now you can't see it anymore. I'll just read it to you. From AP, Trump administration lays off probationary government workers, warns others of large cuts to come. The Trump administration has ordered agencies to lay off nearly all probationary employees who had not yet gained civil service protection, potentially affecting hundreds of thousands of workers. How about that? In addition, workers at some agencies were warned that large workplace cuts would be coming. The decision on probationary workers who generally have less than a year on the job is expected to be the first step in sweeping layoffs throughout the federal government. Just grab something like this. Hold on. I just want to post that report from AP I was just reading you. So again, AP says the Trump administration today ordered agencies to lay off nearly all probationary employees who had not yet gained civil service protection, potentially affecting hundreds of thousands of workers. And then I was reading an article yesterday saying that after that they were starting with probationary employees because it's easier to fire them. And then after that, other job cuts are expected as well. I am disappearing off the screen for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I see Doug Burgum there. Secretary of the Interior. Regarding the mass layoffs order today for probationary government workers being reported, AP says that, excuse me, it's not clear how many workers are currently in a probationary period. According to government data maintained by OPM, there were 220,000 workers with under a year on the job as of March 2024. So a couple 100,000 or so employees might have already been laid off. Employees at the National Science Foundation and Housing and Urban Development Department were told this week that large reductions in the workforce, in some cases a halving of the workforce, would be coming, according to AP. AP reports the National Science Foundation was told to expect a 25 to 50% reduction in workforce within 2 months, and while the Housing and Urban Development Department was told to plan for a 50% reduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
I might switch to the White House feed here, so give me a second here. I'm going to switch feeds, guys, in a second. Probably. The White House is not live on
Thank you very much, please.
Of the United States and the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
I'm going to fix the sound. Give me a second.
I'm thrilled to welcome the Prime Minister of India, my friend, Narendra Modi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, please. Great honor. I'm thrilled to welcome the Prime Minister of India, my friend, Narendra, to the White House. We spent a lot of time here and a lot of time in India, and he's a very special man. Prime Minister, it is a pleasure to extend to you the same hospitality that you showed Melania and myself when we traveled to your beautiful country 5 years ago. It's hard to believe, so long ago, and it seemed like yesterday. It was beautiful. We opened the cricket stadium, 129,000 seats, I think the largest stadium in the world, and it was an incredible period of time. There is truly a special bond between the United States and India, and the world's oldest democracy and the world's largest democracy, and I believe the world's largest country in terms of the numbers of people. And today the Prime Minister and I are announcing a framework to strengthen those ties even further economically, and the U.S.-India Compact for the 21st century is a historic initiative that will deepen every aspect of our partnership and our friendship. Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters. In 2017, my administration revived and reinvigorated the Quad security partnership. In our meeting today, the Prime Minister and I reaffirmed that strong cooperation among the United States, India, Australia, and Japan. And it's crucial, really, to maintaining peace and prosperity, tranquility, even in the Indo-Pacific. In addition, the United States and India will be working together like never before to confront the threat of radical Islamic terrorism, a threat all over the world, actually. Today, I'm pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters and one of the very evil people of the world, and having to do with the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attack, to face justice in India. So he's going to be going back to India to face justice. As we deepen our defense partnership, we'll also strengthen our economic ties and bring greater fairness and reciprocity to our trading relationship. As a signal of good faith, Prime Minister Modi recently announced the reductions to India's unfair, very strong tariffs that limit U.S. access into the Indian market very strongly, and really it's a big problem, I must say. India imposes a 30 to 40 to 60 and even 70% tariff on so many of the goods, and in some cases far more than that. And as an example, a 70% tariff on U.S. cars going into India, which makes it pretty much impossible to sell those cars. Today, the U.S. Trade deficit with India is almost $100 billion, and Prime Minister Modi and I have agreed that we'll begin negotiations to address the long-running disparities that should have been taken care of over the last 4 years, but they didn't do that in the U.S.-India trading relationship, with the goal of signing an agreement. And we want, we want a certain level playing field, which we really think we're entitled to, and he does also, in fairness. So we're going to work on that very hard, and we can make up the difference very easily with the deficit, with the sale of oil and gas, LNG, of which we have more than anybody in the world. The Prime Minister and I also reached an important agreement on energy that will restore the United States as a leading supplier of oil and gas to India. It will be hopefully their #1 supplier. And the groundbreaking development for U.S. nuclear industry. India is also reforming its laws to welcome U.S. nuclear technology, which is at the highest level, into the Indian market. This will bring safe, clean, and affordable electricity to millions of Indians and tens of billions of dollars to the U.S. civilian nuclear industry in India. And under the framework we are announcing today, the United States and India are also joining forces to ensure that artificial intelligence and other advanced technologies are developed by the two of the most, really true of the most advanced nations, intellectually and otherwise technologically, anywhere in the world. There's nobody very much closer. We have an incredible relationship there, and this is where it seems to be heading. And artificial intelligence, a very complex subject, but it seems to be where people want to be and they want to go, and we're leading right now by a lot, but other people will try to catch us. I don't know if they're going to be able to. We're going to make it available. We're going to make tremendous amounts of electricity available. We're going to let the people that are buying the electricity make their own electric plants, electric generation plants. And we've never done this in our country, but we're going to get it done very quickly. Lee Zeldin and his group are going to get the approvals in very rapid form. And we're calling it a national emergency, and that's exactly what it is. So we're going to remain at the top of the AI, or artificial intelligence, I think, for a long time to come, and we're going to be working very closely with India and other countries on that. But right now, we're the leader by quite a bit. Finally, we agreed to work together to help build one of the greatest trade routes in all of history. It will run from India to Israel to Italy and onward to the United States, connecting our partners by ports, railways, and undersea cables, many, many undersea cables. It's a big development. It's a lot of money going to be spent, and we've already spent some, but we're going to be spending a lot more in order to stay advanced and stay the leader. I'm pleased to report that with today's announcements, the friendship between the United States and India is the strongest I believe it's ever been. I think our relationship is the best it's ever been between two leaders of the two countries, and it's an honor to say that. I'd like to now invite the Prime Minister to say a few words, and then we'll take some questions, and we appreciate you all being here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President Trump, delegates of both countries, friends from the media, Namaskar. I would like to, first of all, express my heartfelt gratitude to my dear friend, President Trump, for the grand welcome and hospitality accorded to me. President Trump's leadership has been instrumental in nurturing India-US ties and making them vibrant. I could feel today the same enthusiasm, the same enthusiasm, the same energy, the same commitment that we had worked with during our first term. Our discussions today highlighted our pride in our accomplishments during his first term, the deep mutual trust that we share, and also the resolve to attain new goals. We also agreed that the partnership and cooperation between India and the US can shape a better world. Friends, the people of America are aware of President Trump's motto, "Make America Great Again," or MAGA. The people of America are well aware of it. The people of India, too, are focusing on both heritage and development as they move forward at a fast pace and with a firm resolve to ensure a developed India by 2047. If I were to say this, borrowing an expression from America, our vision for a developed India is to make India great again, or MEGA. When America and India work together, that is, when it's MAGA plus MEGA, it becomes MEGA, a mega partnership for prosperity. And it is this mega spirit that gives new scale and scope to our objectives. Friends, today we have also set ourselves the target of more than doubling our bilateral trade to attain $500 billion by 2030. Our teams will work on concluding very soon a mutually beneficial trade agreement in order to ensure India's energy security. We will focus on trade in oil and gas, investment in energy infrastructure will also increase. In the area of nuclear energy, we also discussed increasing cooperation on small modular reactors. Friends, America plays an important role in India's defense preparedness. As strategic and trusted partners, we are moving forward actively towards joint development, joint production, and transfer of technology. In the times to come as well, new technologies and equipment will enhance our capacities.
We have decided to launch the Autonomous Systems Industry Alliance, and a defense cooperation framework for the next decade will be prepared. Defense interoperability, logistics, repair, and maintenance will also be its key components. Friends, the 21st century is a technology-driven century. Close cooperation in the area of technology between countries that believe in democratic values can give new direction, strength, and opportunities to the entire humanity. India and the US will jointly work in areas of artificial intelligence, semiconductors, quantum, biotechnology, and several other technologies. Today, we also agreed on trust, which stands for transforming relationships utilizing strategic technology. Under this, our focus will be on establishing strong supply chains for critical minerals, advanced materials, and pharmaceuticals. We have also decided to launch a recovery and processing initiative for strategic minerals like lithium and rare earths. We have had close cooperation with the US in the area of space. The Nisar satellite, developed with mutual cooperation between ISRO and NASA, will soon be flying into space on an Indian launch vehicle. Friends, partnership between India and the US strengthens democracy and strengthens democratic values and systems. We will work together to enhance peace, stability, and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. The Quad will play a special role in this. During the Quad Summit, scheduled to be held in India this year, we will expand cooperation in new areas with our partner countries. Under the IMEC and I2U2, we will work together for the development of economic corridors and in the area of connectivity. India and US will stand strongly together in the fight against terrorism. We agree that in order to eliminate cross-border terrorism, we need concrete actions. And I'm very grateful to President Trump that he, in 2008, somebody who carried out genocide in India, that criminal is now going to be handed over to India, and I'm grateful to President Trump for this. And appropriate action will be taken in the courts in India. Friends, the Indian community living in the US is an important link in our relations. In order to further deepen our people-to-people ties, India will soon open new consulates in Los Angeles and Boston. These will be new consulates. We have invited American universities and educational institutes to open their offshore campuses in India. President Trump, I am grateful to you for your friendship and strong commitment towards India. The people of India still fondly remember your visit in 2020 and hope that President Trump will come and visit them again. On behalf of 1.4 billion Indians, I invite you to visit India. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. Beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. That was excellent. We'll do a few questions, please. Please, go ahead. Please, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, blue shirt.
Thank you, Mr. President. People in India will naturally welcome your decision to extradite Thakur Rana to India back home. In that context, I would like to ask you a question about, in last few years, we have seen several groups in the US raising anti-India voice, calling about separation, terrorism activities in India. Do you think that should continue here in the US as well?
You're going to have to go louder.
Mr. President, people in India would be welcoming your decision to extradite Thakur Rana to...
I can't understand a word he's saying.
May I, sir? May I? May I, sir?
Go ahead, back there.
Mr. President, thank you. First, I want to ask
Thank you
the
very
Prime
much.
Minister a question. You and the President, you both spoke about combating ISIS. You both sounded very excited about this partnership upcoming. And I was curious, how much more confident are you with President Trump leading this country that there will be peace through strength and you will have a successful partnership with the United States versus with Biden's incompetence and weakness over the last 4 years?
That's your question, but I'll answer it. I agree with you. Yeah, gross incompetence. We're going to have a fantastic relationship, and it has been. Look, the whole world's been set back over the last 4 years by the weakness of the United States, the weak leadership of the United States. But I think we've taken care of it in just 3 weeks. It seems to me that even some of the media that we wouldn't prefer has been writing that this is a much different country right now, that the world has a light over it, not only our country, but the whole world. The Prime Minister told me that before, too, even over India. The world has a light. They need the United States to be strong and powerful, but good. And I think that's happened, and I think it's happened in a very short period of time. But I will tell you, we're going to have a fantastic relationship, and it'll make both countries much stronger. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, Geeta Mohan from India Today, sir. I'll just take my colleague Lalit Jha's question forward because you couldn't understand.
Okay, fine.
The question is about the fact that you've decided to extradite Thakur Rana. Thank you so much. India has been waiting to have him back in India to bring him to justice. But there are many other elements in the United States of America, particularly Khalistani separatists who've been working against Indian interests. How is the United States of America going to cooperate on that front with India? There have been allegations that have been leveled against Indian agencies by the Biden administration. Are you going to relook that with Tulsi Gabbard as DNI now?
Well, I don't think India had a very good relationship with the Biden administration. They wouldn't sell them oil and gas, which is rather hard to believe because, it's a good thing to do. And a lot of things happened that weren't very appropriate, I thought, between India and the administration, the Biden administration. But as you said, we're giving a very violent man, it seems to me. I mean, I don't know that he's been convicted yet or will be, but let's assume he's a pretty violent person. We're giving him back to India immediately. And there are more to follow because we have quite a few requests. So we work with India on crime. And we want to make it good for India, and it's very important. So that kind of a relationship is very important to us. Okay? Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. President, you've repeatedly called India a big abuser of trade and said it is really difficult to do business in India because of tariffs. You announced reciprocal tariffs today. I am hoping you can speak about what kind of reciprocal tariffs India can expect. Are you willing to make any concessions? And how can India head off these tariffs? I also have one for the Prime Minister.
Well, India's been, to us, just about the highest tariffed nation anywhere in the world. They've been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs. We are right now a reciprocal nation. We are going to, if it's India or if it's somebody else with low tariffs, we're going to have the same. We're going to have whatever India charges, we're charging them. Whatever another country charges, we're charging them. So it's called reciprocal, which I think is a very fair way. We didn't have that. I was going to do that in my other term, and we had the greatest economy ever in the world. There's never been an economy like we had, and then we got hit with COVID. We had to focus on that, and I wasn't really in the mood to be putting it on Italy and Spain and France and India, frankly, and a lot of other countries, because the world was very troubled until we got rid of that nightmare. But we had the strongest economy anywhere in the world during that fairly long period of time during my first term, as you know, and we didn't do the tariffs. We would have done the reciprocal tariffs, but we decided, and I decided, I think on a human basis, on a humane basis, not to do them because of the fact that there was such suffering all over the world. The last thing we needed to talk about is trade problems. But now we do. We see a tremendous future for our country, but we felt that now it's finally time, after 45 or 50 years of abuse, that we will do, and this isn't India, this is among a lot of nations. The European Union is very difficult for us, very, very difficult. They tax our companies at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They take advantage of a lot of things, so we're not happy about that. China, of course, is terrible, and we've never taken in 10 cents until I was president. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars from China since I've been president in first term and now. And we have to do that just as a mechanism of fairness. And that's what I've done. And so we are being reciprocal with India. Whatever India charges, we charge them. So frankly, it no longer matters to us that much what they charge, because whatever they charge, I had discussions with India in the first term about the fact that their tariffs were very high, and I was unable to get a concession. So we're just going to do it the easy way, and we're just going to say whatever you charge, we charge. And I think that's fair for the people of the United States, and I think it's actually fair for India. Okay?
To make any concessions, sir? Are you willing to make any concessions, sir? Any concessions?
Go ahead, please. Ask to the
A
Prime
question
Minister,
for the
please.
Prime Minister, please.
Ask to the Prime Minister, please.
Yes. Sorry. Yoshita Singh with Press Trust of India. Prime Minister, thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister, the US is giving a lot of push to curb illegal immigration, and India has been cooperating on this issue. How does India see this issue in the larger context? Thank you.
I don't think this is a question that is about India only, but even globally you can talk about this issue. And we are of the opinion that anybody who enters another country illegally, they have absolutely no right to be in that country. And as far as India and the US is concerned, we have always been of the same opinion, and that is that any verified Indian who is in the US illegally, we are fully prepared to take them back to India. However, it doesn't stop there. These are children of very ordinary families, and they are lured by big dreams and big promises. A lot of them are brought in without them knowing about why they're going to a country. And in fact, they are connected with a human trafficking system, and we have to make sure that we fight against this system. As far as the US and India is concerned, I think what we should do is make efforts to make sure that we uproot these from within the system so that we can reduce or remove human trafficking. And basically, the young, vulnerable, poor people of India are fooled into coming over as illegal immigrants. And our bigger fight actually is against this ecosystem or this system that encourages such gangs to thrive. And I can tell you that India will completely support your endeavor. in achieving this.
Thank you, Mr. President. The question for Prime Minister Modi first, if I may. I wanted to ask you, did you discuss any possible business deals with Elon Musk during your meetings today, Mr. Prime Minister? And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you, today you spoke about hoping to have three-way talks with President Xi and President Putin. What would you say to European leaders and other allies who may be concerned that you're apparently more keen to speak to America's adversaries than to its allies? Thank you.
Well, maybe I'll just go in first on this one. We had some talks, and we told the European Union, we told the NATO people, largely they overlap, you have to pay more money because it's unfair what we're doing. We're doing a tremendous amount more. We're probably $200 billion more going into Ukraine, using for Ukraine to fight. And Europe has not really carried its weight in terms of the money. It's not equitable. And we want to see a counterbalance. We want to have them put up more money. They have to do that. At the same time, we had a very good conversation with President Putin yesterday, and we also had a very good conversation. I did in both cases with President Zelensky, and I think we're going to be able to do something. I think we're going to be able to make a deal, and I hope so, because it's a horrible war. It's a very terrible, bloody war with 1.5 million soldiers at least already dead on the battlefield, lying all over the fields like nobody's ever seen anything like it certainly since the Second World War. And so I think we're going to be able to do something. We're working with President Zelensky and with President Putin, and my impression is that I know that President Zelensky wants to make a deal, and I also feel that I know that President Putin wants to make a deal. I wanted to know that before I began any detailed discussions, but the meeting and the conversation, also the meeting with Steve Witkoff in Moscow, was a very successful one. And my phone call with him was a very successful one. Please.
You asked a question regarding Elon Musk. I have known him for a very long time. I was not even Prime Minister at the time when I first met him. I was Chief Minister. And today he came to meet me along with all his family, with his children. And so we had a nice discussion. As far as the EV is concerned, EVs are concerned, the word EV has a copyright, and that is one person who has a copyright for the word EV, and that is Trump.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can I ask whether you discussed at all today the case of Gautam Adani, who's one of the wealthiest men in Asia and perceived as an ally of Prime Minister Modi? Prime Minister Modi, have you asked the President to take action on that case? Thank you.
Firstly, India is a democratic country, and our culture and our thought philosophy is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which basically means that the entire world is a family. Every Indian is my own family member. And when it comes to such personal matters, leaders of two countries will not get together on that topic and discuss anything on an individual matter.
Go ahead, please. Yeah, please. Sir, go ahead, please.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. I have a question for you as well. But, Mr. President, you have suggested, with regards to the Russia-Ukraine war, you've suggested several things that Ukraine should give up. The idea of NATO membership, territory that was seized back in 2014 by Russia. What should Russia give up?
Russia has gotten themselves into something that I think they wish they didn't. If I were president, it would not have happened. Absolutely would not have happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years. If you look at what has taken place under President Bush, they lost a lot. Under President Obama, they lost Crimea. Under Biden, it looks like they could lose the whole thing. Under Trump, they lost nothing. Ukraine lost nothing. They didn't give up anything. And you take a look at the other three presidents surrounding me, they gave up a lot. I think that when you look at Ukraine and when you look at the mess that they're in, it's got to be ended and it's got to be stopped. Now, Russia's taken over a pretty big chunk of territory, and they also have said from day one, long before President Putin, they've said they cannot have Ukraine be in NATO. They said that very strongly. I actually think that that was the thing that caused the start of the war, and Biden said it, and Zelensky said it, and I think that was one of the reasons, one of the starts of the war. But from long before Putin, they said you cannot have Ukraine going in any way into NATO. And I start from that standpoint. I think everybody knew that. Now, if a better deal can be negotiated, if they are able to make a deal where they can do that, that's fine with me. I really don't care. I want that bloodshed to stop. I don't want to see, we have an ocean between us and the site we're talking about, the site of death. We're calling it the fields of death. We have a big ocean in between us. This is more important for Europe. We shouldn't be in. They have to equalize, and they're going to have to do it fast, but they have to equalize. But as far as the negotiation, it's too early to say what's going to happen. Maybe Russia will give up a lot. Maybe they won't, and it's all dependent on what is going to happen. The negotiation really hasn't started. But I will say, as far as NATO is concerned, from many years before President Putin, I will tell you that I've heard that Russia would never accept that. And I think Ukraine knew that because Ukraine wasn't in and never requested to be in until more recently. So that's the way it is, and I think that's the way it's going to have to be. Go ahead, please. All right, go ahead, please, with the tie. With the tie, yeah.
Mr. President,
yes, go ahead, please.
This is Saurabh Shukla from News Mobile. Mr. President, you spoke about Prime Minister Modi as a tough negotiator. Who was a tougher negotiator today, and who has a better negotiating tactic when it comes to tariffs?
Oh, he's a much tougher negotiator than me, and he's a much better negotiator than me. There's not even a contest. Okay? Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Reena Bhardwaj from ANI. How do you see this relationship between India and the United States to counter China? And what is your vision when it comes to India, brokering peace in the Ukraine and Russia conflict?
Well, I think we're going to have a very good relationship with China. I got along with President Xi very well until COVID. That was a bridge too far. But until then, I got along with President Xi very, very well. We were very close as leaders go. I don't want to be naive, but as leaders go, I think we were very close. And I think that China is a very important player in the world. I think they can help us get this war over with Ukraine and Russia. And I look at India, I do see the skirmishes on the border, which are quite vicious, and I guess they continue to go on. If I could be of help, I'd love to help because that should be stopped. That's been going on for a long time, and it's quite violent. It's quite violent, but I would hope that China and India and Russia and U.S. and all of us can get along. It's very important. The power of weaponry today is, and not only nuclear, but nuclear in particular, the power of weaponry is very important. I said before that I had very constructive talks in my first term with President Putin about the denuclearization of the two countries, and then we were going to go to China after we worked some kind of a deal. And we, at the confines of a deal, I thought he really wanted to do it, so did I, denuclearize. And it's such a beautiful term when you think about it. In other words, to bring it down, because the power of those weapons is too great. And I did speak to President Xi about that, and I was getting also a very good response. He's building a very strong nuclear power. He's not very close to Russia or the United States right now, but he will be soon. I mean, he'll catch up over the period of 4 or 5 years, they say. But it would be a great thing if we could, on a military basis, we're going to spend this year let's say $915 billion on military. Russia, without the war, was spending close to 100, but with the war, I can't tell you what they're spending, but they're spending a lot. And China is spending $400 and $450 billion. We're over $900 billion. And I said, you know, it doesn't really make sense, does it? We're spending the money against each other, and we could spend that money for better purpose if we got along. And I'll tell you, I think that something like that will happen. First, when I left, as you know, 4 years ago, we didn't have Israel and the Middle East. We didn't have October 7th, a disaster, the disaster. Nothing was happening. Iran was not going to do anything because Iran did not have much money at that point. They were broke. They were totally broke. They didn't have money for Hamas or for Hezbollah. And you didn't have Russia with Ukraine, and that would never have happened. But now I come back and I have, the whole world is on fire, so I have to put out the fires. But after I put out the fires, I'm going to meet with China and I'm going to meet with Russia, and we're going to see if we can de-escalate, if we can bring it down military, especially as it pertains to nuclear. Please.
Mike, please. Prime Minister, how do you see India's role? You have had discussions with President Trump about de-escalating the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. As you know, I have been in constant contact with both Russia and Ukraine. I have also visited both countries. And many people are mistaken and they feel that India is neutral. I would like to clarify, India is not neutral. We have taken a side, and we have taken the side of peace. And it is based on this principle of ours that in the presence of President Putin, I clearly said in front of the media that this is not the era of war. And even today, it is my conviction that solutions cannot be found on the battlefield. Ultimately, you have to come to the negotiating table. And India has constantly made efforts that there are talks that take place where both parties are present. It is only then that we will find a solution. The efforts being made by President Trump, I support them, I welcome them, and I would like that President Trump is successful as soon as possible so that the world is on the path to peace once again.
Everybody, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I very much appreciate the Prime Minister visiting our great country, and I do really appreciate it. We have so much in common, and all we want to do is have peace, and we want to have strength, and we want to have lots of different things together. But the relationship with India and with the Prime Minister has never been better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. That was President Trump and Prime Minister Modi of India. There you go. All right, we'll take a couple comments here. A reminder, I am in New York for a few days, and I am doing this broadcast on the portable setup, so it will not look and sound like it normally does. So thank you for bearing with me as I do the broadcast and try to bring you some coverage here. And I'll do my best to get on the air when there's big news while I'm out of town, but I apologize for anything I can't cover. One of our viewers said nothing extraordinary, I think our viewer said. Who said that? That was Backdoor. Yeah, I don't, off the top of my head, I didn't notice anything that I thought was huge news from the press conference. Let's see here. Yeah, I've been kind of running around a lot between the travel and doing some New York stuff. It's been very busy. So I'll try to get some rest tonight. But if there's huge news, I can always come on the air and cover it. Let's see here. You guys can hear me on the microphone, right? I had adjusted the levels before. Earlier, some people said the level was too low. Pumbaa thought that was a yikes press conference. Yes, people can hear me. Let's see here. Thanks, by the way, to Mediocritish, our member. Thanks to Ted W. Ted says, I've talked to several Indian citizens in depth, and India loves Modi, says Ted. Thank you, Lobo Lounge, by the way, and 7-Inch Destroyer, and also Ken Lance and DBJ. Well, I think DBJ already. Thank you. Also, Marnie and Carrie Poteet and Val. Thanks for the gift memberships, Val. I'll take a few more comments here. Some of the stories keeping an eye on, we talked about it earlier in the stream. We might do other coverage of it. Multiple outlets are reporting that the Trump administration has begun major government layoffs. I don't want to get too into this right now because we talked about it earlier, but AP, for example. Uh-oh, hold on. Gotta move this. AP, for example, that wrote that the Trump administration has ordered agencies to lay off nearly all probationary employees who had not yet gained civil service protection, which could be roughly a couple 100,000 employees. Probationary workers generally have less than a year on the job. It's not people who are in trouble. But you can see here they say, as of March 2024, 220,000 workers had less than a year on the job, according to government data. So there could be a couple 100,000 workers who are already getting fired. And then more job cuts are expected to come. So we'll be keeping an eye on that story. And hold on a second here. Some of our viewers say good news. Some of our viewers say it's going to hurt the economy. Like Marty Hain. Slime Bucket says good news. So we'll keep an eye on that story. And then another story, which again, I'm not going to get into right this second in any kind of great detail. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but the Manhattan District Attorney, Manhattan U.S. Attorney, federal, and top DOJ officials resign over order to drop Eric Adams' case. That was the 3 senior Justice Department officials, including Manhattan's top federal prosecutor, resigned on Thursday rather than comply with an order to dismiss corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. It says Reuters. The departures mark a sign of resistance from career Justice Department officials to President Trump's efforts to overhaul the agency to end what he calls its weaponization against political opponents. Critics say Trump's changes threaten to subject criminal prosecutions to political whims. Again, the Trump Justice Department had ordered this case dropped against Eric Adams, but not because of the merits of the case itself, like the evidence and stuff. But a big reason they had wanted it dropped is that they said Adams would be able to better comply with, to better help the Trump administration pursue its immigration policy goals if he weren't under indictment. So, something we're keeping an eye on. The way the New York Times described that situation today is they said that that Manhattan's U.S. attorney resigned rather than obey this order to drop the case against Eric Adams. And then when Justice Department officials transferred the case to the Public Integrity Section in Washington, the two men who led that unit also resigned. And several hours later, 3 other lawyers in that unit also resigned. So the New York Times has a total of 6 resignations of people in the Justice Department who object to not dropping the charges. Against Eric Adams. Oh, I have something else about the layoffs too. I want to mention this. I have something else about the layoffs. And again, maybe we'll do another stream where we talk about this stuff more. We might do that. But I want to just mention this. Yeah, we even talked about RFK Jr. was confirmed as the Health and Human Services Secretary today. Yeah, this is a similar report from Washington Post to AP. Trump administration directs agency heads to fire most probationary staff. The Trump administration has directed agency heads to fire most trial period and probationary staff within 2 days, taking aim at many of the roughly 200,000 people hired by the federal government in the last 2 years. That's a big number. There's about, I think, 2.3 million federal employees. But according to the reporting we're seeing, you could have around a couple 100,000 people laid off in the next 2 days. It is not immediately clear how many employees will be affected. One person familiar said those employees working on things like public safety and law enforcement would be exempted, and agency heads could carve out others based on particular needs. But agencies appeared to move quickly on Thursday to carry out the directive, according to interviews with dozens of federal employees and records obtained by the Washington Post. Thousands of workers were laid off in messages delivered through pre-recorded videos and on group calls. Some were ordered to leave the building within 30 minutes. Others were told they would be formally fired by email, which never arrived. The latest data shows there were more than 220,000 federal employees within their 1-year probationary period as of last March. These workers typically have little protection from being fired without cause. The sweeping layoffs started yesterday and hit at least 5 agencies responsible for work ranging from supporting small businesses to developing school curriculums. Probationary employees, dozens who said they had never received negative feedback about their work, received emails citing their performance to assert they have not demonstrated that your further employment at the agency would be in the public interest. One agency, the Small Business Administration, listed a paralegal phone number for laid-off employees to appeal their terminations. The number was an automated line for an apartment building. Thank you for calling Westbrook Place, a team that is dedicated to taking care of you the way you live while offering you an extraordinary living experience, a voice said after a reporter called the listed number. We look forward to sharing why Westbrook Place is the perfect place to call home. At the Education Department, Washington Post says, emails went out to dozens of probationary employees Wednesday, notifying them they were fired. One staffer who lost her job in the Education Department's Office of Special Education, helping students with disabilities. In an interview, she said she had moved across the country with her partner to take the position last summer. Spending all her savings in the process, she was working from home because of the snow when she got the email. She was removed from her position in the civil service that same day. Before she could process what had happened, her supervisor called, she said. He was surprised and devastated. He told her he'd received the email at the same time she did. Well, I guess about her, about him. Like, it's unclear. Do I need to finish work? She recalled asking. No, he told her. Anyway, so lots of firings going on. That is happening. Hey, thanks to Janet B. So that's a story, keeping an eye on. Maybe I'll do a separate stream at some point. Oh, hold on a second. Thanks, by the way, to Janet B. for the gift memberships. That's very nice of you, Janet. Oops, hold on. All right, hang on a moment here. What am I doing? Patricia Grace says, I don't want anyone to lose their job, but we need to cut expenses badly. Oh, sorry. If that wasn't new. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Jamie Rowland says, no, we need more teachers. Here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take a break. Again, I am in New York. I have some personal stuff I need to do here and have been doing. I'll do my best to bring you coverage when news happens. I'm sorry if I miss some things the next few days. I'll be here for a few days. And but I'll do my best to get on the air and cover stuff if big news happens. There's stuff I'd like to cover. I mean, in theory, I'd like to do a stream on the layoffs, but I'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we will at some point. But I'm going to take a break right now and eat something. But I really appreciate you guys coming to this stream and bearing with me while I'm away from home. And I will also be posting on my X account at Lookner, right over here at Lookner. You can follow me there. And but yeah, I'll keep an eye out for the news and do more streams. But thanks for your patience while I'm here. I really appreciate you being here, and subscribe, follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. And also turn on the notifications, because we have a notification system. It works awesome. And what was I going to say? Yeah, because I don't know when big news is going to happen, so I can't tell you in advance when we're coming on the air all the time. But if you turn on the notifications, you'll get sent a notification every time. It's free. We have a notification system. Turn on the free notifications. The mods will post a link to that in the chat. Huge thanks to our moderators for being here. Thank you so much. Ruth Krafasi, I know, has been here, and Janet B. over there on YouTube. Thanks, Janet B. again for the gift memberships. No, Janet B, I think, for the gift memberships. Ruth Krafasi and, Janet B. And also Janet B. gave gift memberships. Thank you. All of our other YouTube moderators. our Twitch moderators, like Big Ball of Yarn, David Green, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Papa Bear and Surly Dev. Oh, you know, I know why the time says Central Time. It's not Central Time. That was a mistake the whole time. I'll tell you why that is. The last time I was using this setup was Mexico City. And Mexico City is Central Time. So I need to fix it. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, the whole broadcast, it said Central Time because I had forgotten that I'd changed it before. It's very easy to fix. But hold on. There, I got it. That fix it for everything? Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, it's fixed. It's fixed. It's fixed. Okay, I just gotta save that. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry for having the wrong time up there. Oops, sorry. Let's see here. Hey, thanks to our moderators. I was thanking the moderators, Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X, and then over there on Facebook, we've had moderating today. Margaret Riley's been over there. Bud Green, thank you. Kay Lowry Body, thanks so much. And thanks to everybody who donated. That was really nice of you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for your support for the channel. Very much appreciated. And I think I got everybody. But thank you. That's what lets the channel exist. We have a chat. You can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. Our Discord chat. Check it out. It's free. Same link as the notifications. So check that out. Check out our Discord chat. And thanks to our Discord mods too. Shout out to our subscribers over on Twitch. People like Matthew Kohai 3, EMT Pirate, Shaggy in Wall Street, Douthis, Integrity Farmer Bob. Thank you to all of our subscribers. Billy Joe. And all of our other Twitch subscribers and our Facebook subscribers. Thank you so much, Robert Real II, Kay Lowry Body, and Margaret Riley, and Eve Richards, and Lou Green. All of our other subscribers over there, thank you too. And our YouTube members, people like Wickedest Witch, CAC813, UV Lightning, Naomi Nocturnal, Val, Lucky Minute, Richard Dewey Hammers, Naomi, Evelyn in Maine, Pam Turner, JoJo, Eric Johnson, Jules Henderson, U-Rock, Beam Me Up, Jay Knows Which, Paula Faust, John Flick, Corey Evanson, Jerry Cole, all of our other members, Lolly Lollipop, David Gray, and all of our other viewers. Thanks for watching. Again, sorry for it's the mobile setup here, but better that we can do coverage than no coverage. All right, guys. So I'm going to take a break. I will keep. Thanks, Yvonne McMillan, for watching. I will keep an eye on the news. I'll do my best while I'm here to cover stuff when it's big news, and we'll go from there. So thanks for bearing with me. Thanks, Nibi. Thanks for bearing with me. More news coming. That's it for now. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you soon with more live coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.